Hey guys, it's Michael and welcome back to my channel, The World of Michael Trent. Today I have something fun and different for you. Do you guys remember these cards? This is a card in a box. It would fit into an A2 envelope and then you would pull it out and it would pop open like this. And there would be like a message here or a message on the back. These were really popular a couple of years ago. These are dies that were made by Stephanie Bernard with the stamps of life. And a few weeks ago, I was watching Desiree on her YouTube channel include a thank you and then some, a very cool channel. And she was making one of these, but in a slimline version. And she was using dies from Scrappy Tales. Okay, Scrappy Tales came out with a whole set of slimline dies so that you can make this pop-up card. And I thought it was really cool, but the problem is me being here in Brazil during a COVID crisis, if I ordered the dies, it will take weeks to get to me, and then it will take weeks to get into the country, and then I will be charged an exorbitant import tax. So I started to think, how can I make this without a die? Nothing against Scrappy Tales, okay, but not everyone has access, like in the United States, to relatively quick products. So I played around and I came up with this. So you open it like that and whoop, it's upside down as usual. Okay, so you pull it out of the envelope and it's a pop-up card in a box Easter card. It's got 2 layers here and all these colorful Easter eggs and a little chick. And this is so easy to make, okay? I'm gonna show you today how to do that. So I have a lot to get through. Hoping to keep this video relatively short, like maybe 20 minutes or so, but I have a lot of tips and tricks for you when you're making this card. So let's get started. Let's put this over here. Let me tell you what you're gonna need. So for this card, I'm using one 12 by 12. You need a base color. I use craft cardstock here. So I'm using a full thing of craft cardstock. I needed some greens for the grass that the eggs are sitting in. So I used 2 different shades of green. For my decorative paper, I wanted something wood. I wanted the eggs to have a feel of like they're sitting in a wooden basket in a field of grass. Okay, so I had this in my stash. It's Painted Passport by Webster's Pages. And I went through, it's a really cool paper pad. And I actually have 2 of these and I need to make a mini album using them. Do you guys hold on to your stash? So I found this one, which was a wood design on the front, and on the back was this vintage pinkish polka dot. So I'm going to use this one, and since I think I have enough left from my sample, I'm going to go with the second piece. Okay, so let's first make the card base. Now, I did not distress this one, but the sample I'm going to make today, I did distress the edges using Vintage Photo from Tim Holtz, so you'll be able to see the difference. Using your 12 by 12, you need to cut a piece 4 inches by 12 inches, okay? You're gonna need another piece which is 7 inches by 4 inches. That's this back piece here, okay? You're going to need 2 strips that are 7 inches long by 1 inch in width. These are, 8 inches by 1 inch, because we're gonna score each side, okay? you're going to take your scoreboard. On the 4" by 12" side, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 2.5. And then what I do is I turn it and I score again at a 1/2 inch and 2.5. You could also score at a 1/2 inch, 2.5, 9.5, and 11.5 if you don't want to turn it. Okay, then you're going to turn it to the 4" side and you're going to score all the way down at the 2" mark, okay? For the 4" by 7" piece of cardstock, you're going to do nothing. And on the 2 8" by 1", you're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side, on these two, okay? I did a lot of research on YouTube and the internet, and no one has a tutorial on how to make a slimline card in a box without using a die. I know slimlines are relatively new. There's videos on how to make a slimline envelope, how to make a slimline box for a card in a box, or a thicker slimline card, but no one has done one showing how to do this. So I'm kind of excited. Now, on this one, you're going to burnish your edges, okay? I am not using double-sided tape on this project. I'm using wet glue, only because really double-sided tape in this country is really not that great. And when I was making the first one, I wanted to give myself a little time to be able to wiggle these into place. So by using the wet glue, I find it's better. If you want to use double-sided tape, that's fine also. So now on your 4" by 12" side, we're going to start by cutting here and then removing that piece, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're kind of forming the box here. You're going to cut this. You could also use a paper trimmer if you want to. Okay, on this first little square here, you're going to cut just to the score line here. Okay, don't cut past the score line, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's for these two side flaps here, okay? Now you just want to fold everything back, burnish it well, okay? These are going to come down to the front. This is going to come down to the front like that, okay? I already have these pieces done here because I distress these. You don't need to sit and watch me distressing paper. So this is going to be your front, okay? I even distressed the 7" piece in the back. What you're going to do is, where's my glue? Okay. Going to put your double-sided tape or your glue, okay? It's going to come down on this side here on your 7" side here. Sometimes I will use double-sided tape here with a little dab of glue also, or a really good glue stick, because double-sided tape here is horrible. Okay, now on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to either put double-sided tape here or use wet glue. You could just lay this down like this, and it's going to come together perfectly like that. So you have your tab here and the other tab over here. So now you have the base for your pop-up card. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, so now, let's work on the eggs. Okay, so I am using, for this project, 2 Easter sets from Anthony's Papercraft. One is this Easter set 1. So I'm using, I used the chick, I used the bunny in another one, and I'm going to use one of the sentiments on the card. And the other one I'm using is Easter set 2, which are these 3 really pretty Easter eggs, okay? I'm also using, for the back part here, I wanted it to look like it was sitting in a field of flowers, so I'm using Nature's Silhouettes, also by Anthony's Papercraft. There are 3 images here that you can use on the back if you wanted to do so, but we're going to get to this later. So, for the eggs, here is a major tip. I love these eggs. I use these a lot. These are very time-consuming to color. Okay, if you're doing one project, it's one thing. I made a bunch of projects. I not only did this card, I did this Easter card with the eggs over here, and I did this other Slimline card using the Easter eggs here with this little stitched bunny from Kat Scrappiness. But I was coloring and coloring and coloring and coloring, and then I had this idea to, I stamped a bunch of the eggs onto a piece of white cardstock. I colored them in using, I used Bic and Sharpie ultra fine tip markers. I just love, those are my favorite markers. Then what I do is I scan this and I saved this as a file. So then I was able to go and print 2 of these onto a piece of A4 white cardstock. Now, these are very intense. These are still intense, but they're a little bit muted because of my printer. If you have a really good printer, you're gonna have a better quality. But once you add Stickles, the eggs change. So my tip for you is stamp a bunch of these, scan it, and then print them if you're planning on making a bunch of different cards. This is labor intensive, but honestly, if you've scanned your eggs and then you just have to add Stickles later on, this goes so much faster. So that is a little tip that I came up with. So, I know, I'm all over the place. So I have here, oh, and then what I did, I forgot to tell you, I just put these in the scan and cut. Anthony doesn't have dies at the moment, but these cut out perfectly with the scan and cut, as did the chick and the bunny. Where's the bunny? Where's the bunny? Look at the bunny here. Okay, and here's the chick. Perfect. You could, I like a little border. You don't want a border, don't leave a border. But so stamp them, scan them, print them, and then just slap them in your scan and cut, or if you have another electronic cutter that will cut them, that's great. You can either add your Stickles first and then put it to the side and allow them to dry before you adhere them down. In the case of, that's what I did, no. In the case of this card, I used these eggs without the Stickles, and then once I had everything glued down, then I went back in and I added Stickles where I wanted it. I should have just used these, but that's another option for you. So let's do the outside of the box. So using my using this. Okay, so this is, we're going to need a piece of decorative paper here on the 3 sides. On the back, I'm using a piece of white for the message, and on this, you're going to need 3. So since these are 2 inches wide, I'm going to do this 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. And on these little ones, it's going to be 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So 1 3/4, 6 3/4, and then 1 3/4. I don't think you need to watch me do this whole thing. So then what I did was I adhered this here. Again, if you wanted to stress the edges, do that before you glue. And then I did another piece up here. And then on the sides, I did a piece here and a piece here, and the same thing here and here. Okay, and then you're gonna get your, when it's closed, you have this box look, no matter which way you go. For the front side, I used the reverse, so I put a piece here, 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then on each of these sides, it's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So this way you have your decorative paper here when it's open like that. If you want to use the same decorative paper here, go right ahead. I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Okay, and I thought the pink was relatively springy. Okay, now for the eggs on the inside. I have already done one. Okay, this is the first one I've done. I'm going to show you how I did this. So I needed some grass. So I cut a piece of my 2 green papers. I'm using 2 different colors. And I have here 2 grass dies. Let's see, I personally used this grass dye, which is from Cherryland Designs. I'm pretty sure they're out of business. And then I used this grassland border from, this is Poppy Stamps. Okay, to get two different heights. Okay. I know Memory Box has grass dyes. I think Poppy has grass dyes. I don't think these are, I don't know if this is still available. I'll leave a list below of some options for you guys. If you don't want to use the grass, don't use the grass. So what I did was, I came in with some glue, and just along the bottom, I did a little band of glue. If you have really thin double-sided tape, you can also use that. And then I just laid this across, running on the bottom. So that was my first layer. So you have this first layer. I'm only gluing on the bottom because you need to be able to get your eggs and your bunny behind the grass. Then I came in with the second layer, and make sure you're using a glue that will dry clear. Okay, in my second layer, I'm just going to lay this over it like this. And then turn back the edges, and you just snip off the excess grass, okay? So now you have your 2 layers that are going to fit into here. So now what I did was, I have 6 eggs. I've already cut these out, and I've already added the stickles. I have 4 eggs, okay, 5 eggs. I have a chick. You can even, I didn't color the bunny. I wanted to just use the chick. This is another fun idea. Kat Scrappiness has this stitched bunny die that you can just cut out of brown paper. And you can use that in there also. Like I used here. I used that here. So what I'm doing is, let's see, arrange the colors. All I'm going to do is come in here, put some white glue on the bottom of the egg. I found glue to be the easiest thing in this case. I pulled the grass away a little bit, and then I just slipped the egg inside the way you want it to be. Remember not to go past your side flap here, okay? And you are just going to continue with the next egg or the next chick, or, I mean, you can do any way you want to do. I didn't have them all standing up. I put some at an angle. Okay, and you're going to just continue. It's a little bit too much glue, but that's okay. And you just move down, putting this in here. And, you know, move the eggs behind each other in front. You determine all this. I think I'm going to add the chick here. So he's right in the center. So I'm just going to put the glue on the bottom. You don't want to glue up top because there's nothing behind the eggs or the chick to hold them in here. So now I got the little, see how that's coming together? I love this. I think this is adorable. That's me. And I'll show you in a minute. I have at least 2 more project ideas with this tutorial because I'm in love with this. There are so many options. Hero Arts just came out with a die for a city line, a cityscape. Imagine that over here for like a New York card. Okay. So now in this one, I actually don't need this last egg, okay? And that's fine. That's fine with me. So I have my 2 rows of eggs. Now you're going to bring in your box again. Remember that the flap is down in the front. I want my chick in the back, so I'm going to put some glue on each side. And then I am going to carefully what you want to do is try to get it as close to this edge as possible. And just hold it down for a second. If you're using double-sided tape, obviously this is going to be faster. And then the same thing on this side. You want to try to get them so that they're at the same height and the same distance from the back of the card, okay? So there's your first layer. Then you're going to come in with your second layer. Now for the front layer, I glued these a little bit lower than the back layer because I wanted the back layer to show through. So in this case, I'm going to come down just a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm off screen. I'm all over the place. I'm not used to doing this. I'm so happy the dogs have not started barking. And the kid next door, okay. So this, there you go. So now you have your front and back layer, and when you close your card, it's going to look like that. Cute, cute. Okay, now you need to cut what I used. Okay, I cut 2 pieces of white cardstock, 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. One I adhered to the back because this is where you're going to write your sentiment, because there's really no room here to write a sentiment. Okay, so if this is sitting on a shelf or on a desk or something, no one's going to see the back anyway. So you have this whole space here to write your sentiment. With the other one, you can use, if you want, a piece of decorative paper. I could have used the wooden design here, or the pink if I wanted to. But I wanted this to look like it's sitting in a field or in a basket with grass and clouds. I originally had, and I don't have it handy, I originally had a piece of decorative paper from Hobby Lobby with clouds on it, and I had adhered it down, and I was kind of wondering whether or not I liked this or not, so I had to ask my BFF Sue, and she very politely said, no, go with a distressed cloud background. So that's what I did. I took a piece of white paper, and I found, because when I need my cloud stencils, I can never find them. I found this. I went on Google and I did a search for a cloud line drawing or something. I found this one, I saved it, I printed it out, and this is basically what I'm using as my template. So I used this cloud template with broken china and one of those amazing brushes, and I basically just distressed my piece of white cardstock to give a cloud background. Now, we could just adhere it down like this and be done. That looks kind of nice. Again, I wanted to take it to the next level. So I used one of the images from Nature Silhouettes from Anthony's Papercraft. The first one, oh, here, in this one, in this sample, I used this top one. In this card here, I'm going to use this bottom one because I wanted a different look. Okay, so what I did was I tried this with my Misty, and the problem is that because this paper is bigger than the stamp, okay, the sides of the Misty didn't give me the opportunity to move. I didn't want to move the stamp, I wanted to move the paper. So I have this stamping platform. This is by Sunlit, which I got here in Brazil. But the same exact stamping platform is being made by Couture Creations. I will leave this link in the bottom below, okay? So what I did was I put my cardstock in. I used some Mode Lawn Distress ink, and I stamped the image. I have one here. So I put this in here, okay? I stamped the image, and then I moved it down, okay, so that it would line up this way, and then I continued to stamp. With the Misty, you have your edge here, so I found this to be easier. It didn't line up perfectly, okay, and there's some distressing here. It wasn't perfect, but when you put this down here, okay, you don't really see in there, okay, unless you are literally looking down that way, okay? But when you open up the card, you see this beautiful meadow of silhouette flowers that the eggs and the chick are sitting in. So I then adhered it down here, okay? And on the opposite side, I adhered my blank my blank paper, Okay, and you are basically done. Some things I forgot to talk about. This part here, okay? This is a great part, a great section. Before you adhere this piece to your base, if you want to round your corners, okay, you can round your corners on all of them. If you want to use a border die, you need to really use this border die before you adhere this, okay? Something that I love to use are these 4 border dies from Pink Fresh Studio. It's part of their Slimline card line. It's one of their original Slimline cards, Slimline dies that they came out with. And I'm just trying to find, oh my God, the samples here. So, oh, another thing you can use are your crocodiles. This is like a small angle or a large angle. You could have them angled. This is the one with the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch rounded sides if you don't have a small corner rounder. As far as these Pink Fresh dies go, you get 4 dies, okay? I also use these in mini albums for my mini album borders. Really adds something different. In this case, by using this stitched one, okay, you can get a stitched border. Let's see if I can get this. See that stitched border there? But you do have to remember that when you cut your white paper, that your white paper has to be sized correctly. Okay, and then it would look, you would have a stitched border background. Okay, you could do the same thing here and here and here, but you have to do that before you adhere everything together. The other side is a plain. This is this one. Okay, that's that plain edge. Another option is this other border die. Gives a beautiful, just scalloped. Look how pretty that would be. Like that. You're still going to adhere it to the bottom, but this top part will be where this is here. And then the last one is this die, which is really cool in that it cuts this little notch out, okay? So when you do your matching paper, you can either line it up like this so that the 2 matches, or you can use the reverse side and you can have your paper so that it sits like that. That's kind of cool too. Anyway, just options to bring this Slimline card in a box to a new level. I mentioned earlier that I had other ideas for this box, so I will have other tutorials. I'm not going to go obviously through the whole tutorial on how to make this box again, but I have this idea for a nautical card. Okay, Anthony's Papercraft has Nautical Set 1, and this is Nautical Set 1 and Nautical Set 2. And the idea that's in my head is I want to cut out the big ship and the sailboat. I'm going to have this, maybe even the fisherman in the front or a lighthouse in the back. He also has this 4th of July set, and I was thinking with the statue, to have this done as a 4th of July card, because these fireworks can actually be stamped here with the statue in the back so that the fireworks are coming up out of the statue, okay? So that's one idea. I also have this other idea for a spring card. This is Flower Set 1, and I think this is Flower Set 2. To have these flowers going across here, all the tulips, the daffodils, or the hyacinths as like a happy spring card. I think that's another great idea. The options for this are amazing. And Again, I apologize to Scrappy Tails. I will leave a link below to their dies if you don't want to go through all of this craziness to make this card. I will leave links below to everything, to Desiree's original video, to the Stamps of Life dies for the original A2 card if you want to make this. I don't know if this is new for you guys. I would love to know what you think of this idea. I had a lot of fun making this. I love to color, so this is my dream here. Please let me know what you think. I appreciate you stopping by and sticking through. Okay, 35 minutes, not 20, but I spoke too much. Anyway, I'm just beyond thrilled that the dogs didn't bark and the kid that lives next door hasn't woken up yet. So this was a good video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you will like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment below. I would really, really love to know what you think of this. So thank you. I will see you again next time. Bye.